And now time for part 2. So day 2 of DragonCon was more eventful than day 1, probably because we were, there longer. Good reason why. It's probably also like one of my favorite of the 2 days. I kind of go back and forth between like whether this day was the best or whether day 3 was the best. They're both pretty good, honestly. Saturday morning, we had to get up very, very early because of the panel that I was supposed to be attending about videos and independent film. Okay, Dad had gotten me to come to this panel that was about recording, which he kind of took to mean like, well, gave me the impression that it was about like recording for content, kind of like this. Like maybe I would go there and learn a thing or two about improving how I make my YouTube videos. It was early, and Atlanta's not super far away from my house, but it's a long way. So we got up very early and we came here. The dog who is over there sleeping. Come on, Cinderella. No, okay. Actually got to come home early because we kind of figured, hey, why have somebody babysitter if like some people are going to be around a lot, right? So I go there, and my parents wanted to watch the parade, and then I went to the panel and turned out it was more about audio than it was about like recording things. I ended up going to the wrong one. I'm having to find the independent film thing. The recording thing wasn't bad. It was just more for people who do audio books or like podcasts and songs and stuff like that. I learned a few things, but they were getting into like areas that I know nothing about. I mean, I guess I record like the occasional song. There's a song parody coming out for one of my reviews. I don't know if it'll be out by the time this video is released, but if it is, you'll know what I'm talking about. If not, you'll have to wait and see. I raised my hand because he asked everybody there like why they were there and what they were interested in, and I said that I do YouTube, and he was like, YouTube is more about the visual stuff than it is the audio, although audio has become more important these past few years. So I was kind of both like yay and okay. While talking, they said some excellent stuff. Like I took notes on my phone as they did this, and I was kind of into it. They had some good advice, and they kept referencing this PDF that you could apparently just find that talks about audio recording stuff, but no matter what I did, I couldn't find it. And I was actually under the impression that this was going to be a different panel that I had found that was about independent film, but it wasn't. So I talked to my parents, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to go attend that one. They were in the same building, so it was no big deal. It was pretty much like halfway over by the time I got there, but it was an excellent panel. They talked about a lot of different stuff, like grants and companies and stuff like that. It was interesting. I enjoyed doing it. So after that, we decided to see a panel that was about Shazam. We're very big Shazam people, I guess, as you can see. That one was in like totally different building, and navigating between the buildings with DragonCon can always be a real task, and they do not give you like a map to find the different buildings on the app. So like Google Maps, you can Google Maps it, and that kind of helps, but yeah, it's really tricky, especially for me. I don't really visit Atlanta all that much, so it's nuts. But we got there, and it was pretty fun. Zachary Levi, of course, is always hilarious, and seeing Jack Dylan Grazer was also pretty cool. Zachary Levi, I really haven't seen a lot of his work. I've seen Shazam, of course, and I've seen the second Alvin and Chipmunks movie in which he was in, and I've seen Tangled. Tangled's kind of my first impression of him. Of course, who doesn't love Flynn Rider, right? My costume for that day, I was Ray. The costume that is in my picture is one that's partially bought. The vest and the pants are all bought. The original accessories that came with, like the belt and the gauntlet, they were foam, and there was no white shirt that I came with, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is unacceptable. So I got a Ray pattern from McCall's that's in there, made like actual leather accessories for Rey, and then made like the shirt that she wears in the movie, because there's moments in The Last Jedi where she's just like wearing the shirt. So yeah, that was my costume. Also, I had my lightsaber, which you can kind of see back there, that I bought from Ultra Sabers, which also has a place in DragonCon. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Shazam. Sorry about that little tangent. Yeah, I've seen Jack Dylan Grazer in It, and of course Shazam. So yeah, both of them to me are kind of at like the same level, except I know that Zachary Levi is like this really established star. They were both funny. Listening to them was fun. And then Cooper Andrews, or yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Cooper Andrews, who played the dad in Shazam, made a surprise appearance, and it was pretty funny too. He got to the microphone, he was asking questions, and was like, "Freddie, who's mowing the lawn? Freddie, what are you doing?" And then Jack Dylan Grazer got up and like started running. It was funny. Go to Shazam panels if you ever consider doing Dragon Con. Do it because they'll be fun. So then after that, we went to go have lunch. We went to Corner Bakery, which was like very, very close to DragonCon. If you're not a fan of food trucks, check that place out. They have some stuff. They've got like salads and sandwiches and all. This video is sponsored by Corner Bakery. I'm terrible at sponsorships. Just kidding, they're not a sponsorship. But yeah, that's a suggestion if you're not really a food truck person. Like, I know some people are not. I forget which hotel that was near, but yeah. That was a nice, easy lunch. It's always nice to sit down and relax. You sit down and relax during the panels, but like, it's this weird, like, you're sitting and relaxing, but not really kind of thing. So, like, taking a break from DragonCon was fun. So then after that was another event that we were looking for, which was an hour with Neville Longbottom and Ginny Weasley. Yes, we got to sit with them for an hour. I was honestly very curious because Harry Potter's a big thing. I'm a Hufflepuff if anyone is interested. It was interesting stuff. They talked about like which characters that they would have been if they weren't the ones that they played. They talked a lot about growing up on the sets, which is always kind of a curious thing because like all the kids who were in those movies basically did like go through like their whole adolescence on that set and go through like most of K through 12 on that set. And that's got to be such an experience. Or like it's got to be very different from what like the average kid grows up. Neville was very funny. He had just broken his leg, so there were a few like jokes about that. He kind of was a little slower getting to the stage. He said like tripped or he was soccer. I didn't know that he was apparently now a soccer player. That's interesting. But yeah, that's how he broke his leg, unfortunately. Looked like it was getting better though. Bonnie Wright, she seemed very lovely too. They both seemed pretty cool. I found out during that panel that he had actually been there back in like 2008, which was weird because I had thought that like none of the Harry Potter people had ever come to DragonCon like ever. So like the fact that they had was kind of like surprising to me. After that, I decided to go take a lesson in corsetry because of cosplay, obviously, trying to do more cosplay stuff. The panel was very interesting. The hosts were this woman who works in the theater. Another one was this older woman who had essentially been doing it her whole life. Another one was this content creator, cosplayer, so it was like a good mixture of skills hosting the event. They had a lot of interesting stuff, and I took a lot of notes for that too. I probably looked so disrespectful to all these people because like for everything, I would just like sit there and like be on my phone and like typing. They're probably sitting up there thinking, dumb teenager texting during an event, and I'm thinking, no, I'm just taking notes. I followed some people on Instagram. By the time the panel ended, it would be a while before the workshop because on Friday I had found out that the workshop that I thought was going to be Friday night was actually Saturday night. So yeah, there was a lot of time to just figure out what we were going to do. Probably get there, probably I don't actually remember what we did during all that time. I know one thing though, the Rey costume got a lot of compliments. Personally, my Wonder Woman costume was my favorite, but you guys who voted on Instagram said that the Rey costume was your favorite. I got a lot of compliments that day. Mom and Dad tell me that I look just like Rey with the costume on, which, I mean, I guess we kind of have the brown hair in common, but like Daisy Ridley is taller than me and has brown eyes, and I kind of have the curly frizzy thing going on, whereas hers is just, she doesn't have to worry about that. So, to be honest, I really don't see it, but apparently I looked enough like her that people would like ask for my picture in a bunch of places and ask for me to pose and all that stuff. It was really neat. That had never happened to me before. There was even one incident in which a little girl was following me and saying, like, Ray, Ray! And it took me a moment to register that, like, she was talking to me. And she handed me this, like, little dragon egg. It was so cute. Oh my gosh. And it turned out it was this, like, DragonCon thing. I don't know if this was something, like, specifically for the kids, because there's, like, a whole DragonCon kids thing. But basically, you get these little dragon eggs. I wish I had it with me right now. You could either keep it or pass it on. I decided to keep it because it was adorable, and that was probably the best story from the whole day. So then came the workshop. Now, like I said in the last video, I don't know anything about armor. It's everywhere in cosplay, using foam, using this, using that, using the other thing, but I've never done that. All I do is sew. That's just pretty much my skill set right now. So this was sure to be interesting. So I go in there, I get to check in. There wasn't a large group of people, just kind of fellow cosplayers, and we decided to make a gauntlet, which was in the description. I felt like such a screw up doing it. That's kind of like me when it comes to starting out anything, is I'm just like, ugh. I hope that because it was a basic class, I felt like maybe it would kind of alleviate that, but no, I'm having to like ask the instructor like all these questions, and like nobody else really is asking questions. The instructor, who by the way was a regular leather working guy, he makes stuff out of leather. I'm not exactly sure what his job is. He was very nice. He never like acted like I was dumb or anything. The class was supposed to go from 7 to 9:30, but we had finished the gauntlet in like an hour and 15 minutes. So actually earlier than that, now that I think about it. So yeah, we were all done pretty early. He then said something like, we can do something more complicated if you want, to all of us, not me. And I was like curious, so I asked him like, what would we do? And he told us about shoulder armor. I have seen some pretty awesome looking shoulder armor. So when I heard that, I was sold and I was excited, and sure enough, I messed up a lot and I thought I was going to go leave early from the class, and I even texted my parents that, and I did not. Okay, I did, but like 30 minutes early, but I got my pattern and I'm proud of them, and I'm hopefully going to use them one day. And yeah, that was the end of the night. Normally at the end of every day of DragonCon, well, first of all, we wouldn't be out that late normally. Normally we would get King of Pops at the end of each DragonCon day, but they were not selling them this year, so we could not do that. Day 3 might actually be my favorite now that I've talked about this one enough. I'll probably film that in the morning, in which like I'm not wearing the hoodie and I've got different makeup on, or maybe none at all, who knows. But yeah, that was my story.